life, when you start growing and you start developing, you realize it's all about control. It's all about people trying to control who you are.
It's a nice day.
Is this where you work?
Yeah, we work on the basement. No windows, so you're totally in the zone when you work.
And it's overwhelmingly controlling. When I came to autism for the first time in 2008,
the same thing with birthdays.
If it's like one group, then you feel you have to post for each person.
Exactly.
I should have gotten my nails done.
It's fine.
Thank you.
Of course. No.
She's also
where I saw there was this therapy that they had come up with, which was all about controlling that kid. It didn't allow that nervous system to flourish, to find its own autonomy, to find its own agency, to self-discover how to do things its own way. It was imposed top-down. I put myself on the shoes of that child and I thought, I'd rather die. I'd rather die than having to do this thing so many hours a week for somebody to give me some piece of candy or to like punish me for something. I'd rather die.
Yes, perfect. Going to measure Theo's height.
For last 2 centuries, more than 2 centuries, these patients are somewhat outcast in sense of the diagnosis, while the other health sciences progressed and prospered. These individuals are still diagnosed based on doctor's discretion and some questionnaires.
We study the neuroscience of movement, basically, with main focus on autism and other neurological and neuropsychiatric disorders.
We work on developing kind of biomarkers that can better detect and understand neurodevelopmental illnesses.
The lab is focused in the measurement of these micro movements.
Tracking all these little microscopic movements that cannot be tracked by the naked eye of a clinician.
Taking into the basic science also the input of the autistic community that actually really helps me as a researcher to understand what I'm looking for.
And I hope that this makes research more accessible, because there really is no point in improving research and technology if people can't apply it to their lives.
And in a sense, it is a renaissance of autism. This is a revolution.
Right now we're heading to the first floor of the psych building. These is where our main labs are, where we have all the equipment now that we test on the dancers and for our different studies. And right now we're heading to the main lounge room, to our main meeting room. Here's Richa.
Hi, welcome to our building.
So if you walk down alongside this corridor, pass through that door, you go to our main lab where we have all the equipment and all the sensors. And here on the right, we have the main meeting room. So walking into the main meeting room where we just have our breakfast. And here we walk into the main lounge area. Here is Professor Torres, the head of the lab. Here, straight, the moment you walk in here, you see these two sort of like paintings, designs on the wall that kind of encapsulate, you know, the heart of our research. This is chaos, and this is order. So you try to find a balance between those two, because that's what makes you human. Yeah, basically this room is where ideas are born.
To put the sensors
Yeah, one thing we should do is label the sensors.
before Friday, yeah.
To put both up and below chest and pecs.
So both of these are going to go on the pecs.
Okay, can do that.
Yeah, so these are going to go on the pectoral muscles.
And the purpose is to measure simultaneously heart and lungs.
Yeah, so we're trying to
Signals.
get respiratory and heart rate
And
data
heart
from
rate
these sensors.
at the same time.
This little sensor here is basically what's collecting all of that data. So we put a little sticky adhesive on there. Theo can stick it onto his abdominal muscles, and then these clamp onto the electrodes that he just stuck on. And then we get all of that data from this little sensor that's portable. So he's going to stick that under his shirt, and it's going to go on his left upper abdominal.
So
Flip it. Yeah. So the metal part is going to touch the electrode. It's metal to metal.
Let me do it.
I got it.
Ah, yeah. It opens.
Nathan, why don't you take a picture of this picture? And then, oh, so you want it, okay. So create label, you click OK, type in what you want to type in.
Nice.
Can we just verify the other one is also right?
verifiable.
Yeah, that's good.
So now the circuit's closed.
Keep it here.
Just so you know though, the batteries are these big blue ones. And so you push, turn, plus side goes down.
And these are the little sensors that we use.
Yeah, the metal should face down.
So we're going to put these in the straps,
But
and
that's what I was
then
doing wrong before.
you'll see how the avatar looks after we set Theo up with these.
My name is Elizabeth Torres. I'm a professor at Rutgers University. I look at problems and I like rethinking the problems and looking for out-of-the-box solutions, looking for things that perhaps people missed and were important. And so I do that all the time. It's almost like in my nature, like I look at details that people may have missed, but it's just like fun to do it. It just gives me a lot of pleasure to find things that are completely new, that to be there like the first. It's a little bit of a selfish thing, but it's just fun. But then within that, when you create these new methods of analysis and these applications, somewhere in there long ago, I found a way to connect to the medical field, and I realized the power of what we do in transforming the way people can think about a problem.
Sensors need to come off, unfortunately. I'll tell you which ones. A certain few of them, because we're using the full setup, we're using an old configuration. Old configuration had old serial numbers.
Oh, so we mapped the wrong body parts.
We didn't map the wrong body parts. Some of them weren't mapped at all. Like the reason we only see the bottom half of the skeleton is because
didn't map the
we
top half.
unmapped half of them.
Okay.
So we need
Yeah.
T00B4B.
00B4B CDA.
CDA. Okay. All right. So the other half of his body showed up.
Do you need to redock them?
No, we don't need to redock anything. Everything works perfectly.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we're just going to calibrate now.
Theo, can you stand in the statue position again? So this is just so the sensors basically understand where in space they are, because what the sensors tell us when Theo starts moving is his movements in space relative to each other. I focus on detecting developmental disorders early on in life. I started off working with autistic children, and I'm very passionate about simplifying the detection process and understanding why exactly different developmental disorders are present and what the symptoms mean. And I realize that the current paradigm is very behavioral and it tends to be very subjective. And I believe that the people who are dealing with different disorders and dealing with different physiologies deserve to have more access to research and more access to technology.
Tape.
Tape, because every baby loves tape.
Or do you want this
one? See, it's all for you.
She's like,
You want to pull, pull, pull.
she's like, I found it.
Yeah.
She's like, now I'm good.
That's yours. Oh, you want this too? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put these sensors. All they do is detect her movement. They're like little Apple Watches.
Yeah.
We're going to put them on her arms and legs.
Okay.
I think she's okay with them so far. She's more interested in the tape.
Yeah.
So let's start by suiting her up.
Okay, so this is the right arm.
This is her right leg, so I'm just going to walk over.
So is it on the forearm, Racha, or
Let's put them on her upper arms.
upper arms? Okay, like that.
It's okay.
Let's
You're okay.
actually just try her lower arm. I think that
Lower arm. Okay.
You're okay.
No, okay.
Oh,
I think
just
upper arm is
Upper
better.
arm probably, because she doesn't, I don't
That's
know, she
okay.
doesn't like anything on the lower
Okay, perfect.
for some reason.
Whatever is
Yeah,
more
it might be like
comfortable.
more of a weight.
You don't want to eat it. It's tempting, I know. I know.
Yeah, I think. Is that okay, Racha?
That's perfect. We're just going to tie it so ideally it doesn't move, but not too tight that she's uncomfortable.
Funny kid. What are you doing? Look.
So many toys.
She's
Uncomfortable.
What are you touching? Are you touching my mic?
Mhm. She's like, ooh, looks like a new toy.
Another tech toy.
Her right arm. Let's move your arms a little bit so we can see. They're working perfectly. So we're going to start recording. Now we can just play however she wants to. So we're just trying to study her natural movements.
You
So
wanna,
what feels
do
natural?
you wanna,
Where's the other watch?
look at this.
I know you want it now, right? I'm just fixing it so we can give it back to you. Okay, here. I need your leg. It goes right here. Thank you. And we're just going to put it back.
Eliana, no.
It's okay. No,
okay.
we don't need to put it.
That's a cool red watch.
You have to
Whoa!
stand. Which one do we want?
Wow!
We still want the tape or the watches? Let's see. What's the most interesting?
She's like, I have a watch. So that. Hi.
So the motion monitor is basically a company that synced all of these systems that we're using. So these little orange sensors, these are from Xsense. The heart rate that Theo has is from another company. We're going to be doing eye gaze tracking with Tobii glasses, which is another company. And then Motion Monitor basically has integrated all of these so that they record at the same time. So all of these sensors generally, they have different sampling rates, which means that they sample data at specific intervals. And it's really hard to sync these and actually understand them on one level. But then this company has basically given us this gift that allows us to record everything and interpret them together, which is really special.
They should all be on the outer.
So these are the Tobii eyeglasses. They can measure Theo's gaze and basically his eye movement.
Yeah, I think they even actually measure pupil dilation.
Yeah.
Another way to quantify, stress or focus or brightness in a room normally. Just like look at the skeleton, do some movements.
Can we move it so the skeletons?
Can you also show up the ECG signal.
Okay, left foot. That's your right foot. Wait, one more time. Okay.
Right foot.
So okay, if you guys look at the feet.
Yeah, we saw it.
I saw that. It's
Yeah.
like inward.
Okay, so should we put that on under the shirt?
Yeah, so put it what?
Under the shirt.
Let's try it. Wait, so do it. It's moving. And
Yeah, because
then-
the shirt's like moving it
Yeah.
more than the body.
That's why I said
Yeah.
So try
Should
putting
I
it under the
have-
shirt.
loose clothes.
I mean, you can tuck the shirt in.
So the shirt doesn't move as much.
What do you mean?
If you tuck the shirt, if you like tuck the shirt in, it won't move as much. Or you can put the whole thing under your shirt.
In both ways.
Ah, yeah.
There is a slide.
Yeah, we didn't have this issue with the dancers because
Yeah, because they're built in the.
Yeah.
Maybe we
Yeah.
can,
I think putting it under the shirt. Let's
Are
try
there
it.
any of these shirts?
I think the problem is the lap.
It doesn't have the
The large?
pocket isn't in the right place.
I learned something that most people don't know, and how these kids are suffering and how they feel inside, and I could see it in our data. And I had to tell the world, like, look, they're not doing this on purpose. You really need to help them. And I think that we can do it. We can support them and just change the way that we're looking at data or at this problem altogether.
The lab is very unorthodox in a sense that it takes data of movements, micro movements, their digital signatures, and we're trying to produce biomarkers for diagnosing autism.
Using wearable sensing technologies to track the individual's kind of movement, their physiological activities such as their heart rate or muscle activity, their brain signals, and that helps us kind of characterize these disorders with more objective metrics. With the heart data, we're basically tracking the electrical activity of the muscles on the chest. And from that, we get a variety of peaks that show kind of the heart signal. And based on kind of the frequency of those peaks and how they change, if it's like boo, 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 and it's like really quick, those are like high frequency changes. And that kind of indicates, parasympathetic activity where it's like a relaxed rest digest state. But if it's like kind of low frequency changes within the heart signal, that represents kind of sympathetic nervous system activity where the person might be more anxious or distressed.
Where you're down here, I think you just want to leave one spot for her here, but you want to make the diagonal across center if you can, so that, because right now it was kind of here, and then you were a little over on that side there, Clementine. So just like that, and then she's right here. She'll probably need to have a little help from you. So when we rehearse this,
So can we set them up?
with her, you're going to want to make sure that you say, she's the one that has to tell Judith what to do. Salute, stop, turn, you kind of have to help her. All right? Yeah? When is she coming? Okay, Tuesday at 2:30, so,
Ask for them for a week.
all right, good.
And then she will be in Wednesday and Thursday, so she has 3 days.
So she's cramming.
She's coming in. So we get to running with her. Well, those 3 days.
Yeah, okay, good. I feel like I'm getting shocked by this.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting shocked.
Do you want me to readjust it?
No, it's fine. I'm a big boy. I was wondering why I was being shocked. I kind of felt kind of good, actually. But maybe kind of, I don't know. Yeah. So I'm Mark Roxy. I'm the founding artistic director of the Roxy Ballet, and I believe this is about my 30th year directing the company. I'm a diverse person. I grew up in a diverse environment as a child, and I don't know any other way to be. Now today, everyone talks about diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility. Those are things that I've been striving for and things that I've been yearning for my whole existence as a dancer. So for me, yeah, it definitely is what has Roxy be Roxy. It's what the company is all about. And trying to find unique ways of bringing dance to people is what we are about. So, working with, you and working in this, with Rutgers University and this particular project, I think it's a really great opportunity for us to discover what we don't know. We don't know about movement. We know so much about its accessibility and what it does for other people. I know because I've spent my life giving back to other people and trying to make dance a part of their lives. So I know what it does. But that being said, what is it that I don't know about what I know?
Right.
So that's what gets, that's
Yeah,
what's
and
exciting.
I think that getting the sensor data and looking inside the body as it's moving and producing all this beautiful choreography will help us.
So we're working with Roxy Ballet today, and we are using our wearable sensors from the lab to understand their movements and their heart rates. And using the digital data from these sensors, we can understand exactly how their bodies entrain with each other, and even how their movements and their heart rates entrain with themselves, which will help us digitize dance and understand this from a new lens. We're going slow and steady to make sure everything works. Right. You're a pro at this now, though, so. So we worked with Roxy Ballet's costume designer to make these suits, and this makes it much easier for the dancers, I think. What do you think, based on,
Yes, definitely.
Because it doesn't really interfere with their movements as much, and the sensors are very stable inside here.
It's also a lot faster than like.
And yes, the setup process is a lot faster.
Dave, double checking.
Okay, I'm seeing 154.
154. Okay. Come back, you're doing it now. You can start now.
Probably athletic take these. Is that too tight?
So once these sensors are calibrated, that's when they basically know where they are in place on her body. So if the sensor moves after it's calibrated, it loses its space and it sort of messes up the data that we look at afterwards. So we want to make sure that the entire time she's dancing, they stay in the same spot, because that's much easier for us to interpret later on. So we tried calibrating the sensors, and if you look at the avatar, that's basically supposed to be an avatar representing Caitlin. Its lower body, half of it is missing, the part that is there. So that probably means that we've either mismatched some of the sensors that we were comparing earlier on, or another issue, which we are trying to troubleshoot now.
Caitlin, can you take 3 big steps forward?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You're magic.
There's some drift.
I mean, it's been a lot.
Can you move your hips a bit?
Maybe her feet are backwards.
That's fine, that's a small fix. At least she has feet. So we're gonna do the north statue thing. A little bit to your left, yes. So these sensors, basically, they need a frame of reference to understand where they are in space. And so they know where north is. So if we can make sure that Caitlin is facing north, then we know the sensors will be oriented in the correct position in space.
What we've seen is that, autistic individuals at baseline without any kind of pain or exercise that they're performing at the moment, they show heart signatures that indicate states of anxiety and distress, similar to a person who is undergoing pain or is performing physical exercise.
And what would that be like living with?
Yeah, so it kind of shows us how, during their everyday life, if they're under kind of normal settings or if it's just kind of a new environment that's already stressful for them. And so, anything additional kind of just over exacerbates the system. So they're in a constant state of sympathetic hyperarousal. And you can fight or flight mode basically. And so having that kind of being in that state over long periods of time, you can see how that can really impact the nervous system over time.
Do you think that would be very stressful for someone to live with, and are they constantly in that state, or is it just periodically?
It might be depending on the person. But yeah, so in general, they might experience periods of like relatively less anxiety or stress. But compared to the average individual, if they're in that state for prolonged periods of time, it could definitely impact their sensory sensitivities and basically everyday life activities. I'm very passionate about this work because I've grown up with family members and family friends who have, children that suffer from neurodevelopmental illnesses such as autism, Down syndrome, intellectual disability, and just seeing kind of the anxiety and the distress that they experience throughout their everyday life made me very passionate about finding something that I can actually do to try to help these people. And so in this lab, we can leverage these wearable technologies to better understand kind of the internal states of the individual, recognize whether they are experiencing states of anxiety or distress to help them and better improve their quality of life.
So the certificate program is all about new technology, how it helps us with research, how it can help us with clinical, how do you say, clinical interventions, or at the end of the day, we want to help the kids and help people with autism to be part of society, to learn, to be able to work, to be able to do whatever they want. And the certificate is going to be part of bridging these worlds of research and clinical interventions, taking the autistic perspective as well. I think it's going to be a real autism renaissance.
Liz, what are we doing in here?
So we're trying to give you a sense of the global nature of the program, because we're translating into Spanish, to Hebrew, to Hindi, in addition to English. So we're trying to have a certificate that encompasses different cultures and that gives a broader sense of autism beyond the confines of the U.S. The U.S. is highly influenced by the private medical insurance and the privatization of medicine and so forth. And so it generates a series of issues that don't exist in other countries, so we can learn from those countries what kind of programs they have, how they diagnose, how they treat, and it's not necessarily the same as in the U.S. In some cases, it seems more advanced. In other cases, the U.S. is doing better, detecting earlier and so forth. So we're trying to learn actually in the process of teaching about the autism across the world. So we took advantage of the richness of Rutgers students and postdocs the diversity. And here we have a lab that is very eclectic, so it was easy to get myself speak Spanish. I'm Hispanic. We have Mona has origins from Egypt, so she'll be doing this in Arabic. We have Anna from Israel, so she's helping us with the Hebrew translation. Ridesh is from India, so he's helping us with the Hindi translation. And so it's a very, I don't know, worldwide approach to autism, not just the US. Yeah.
Yep. Okay,
Great.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, Mona. Come in, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was checking on your new slides. They're beautiful, and they really capture what we want to say. So we don't have yet the nice background, but
Yeah,
we'll
like the editing process.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, but I love your concept. So the whole thing of intelligent behavior analysis, like keeping the old sort of behavioral concept, but adding this whole technological advance that makes it more precise and automates it is fantastic. And I love how you did the head to toe. So tell me a little bit about this. How did you come up with that?
Yeah, so basically I wanted to kind of provide a cohesive way to understand the different technologies that are available and accessible for people to use, that can kind of lend them to some of the techniques and methods that we've used in the lab. Kind of instead of just looking at behaviors, we can analyze so many different physiological signals from all the way from like the head, the face, movement through, sensors, and use that as a proxy to understand, how the person is actually feeling, whether they're in a state of distress, the different technologies that are accessible. So, for example, if we were to turn this into a game and someone's interested in measuring brain signals, they'll click on the head and they'll get kind of the different technologies that are available. So, for example, EEG technologies that measure the electrical activity of the surface of the head. We show them kind of examples of what the data could look like, how the technology is used.
You're going to be an excellent instructor because you've been the best TA that our department has. So tell me a little bit about that, because I know that you love teaching and you're going to be the instructor. So tell me a little bit about that. What inspired you, the whole process that you've been involved here so deeply?
Yeah, so I've been an instructor for several lab courses within the department. So there I've got to work kind of more closely in smaller classrooms one-on-one with students. And I realized how much I enjoy kind of teaching them about, the certain topics and concepts, even kind of relating it to the research that we do. We've also done kind of experiments within the course. So seeing how students are able to do the whole research process themselves. And I found that also I'm very passionate about, teaching things that I care about. So being able to teach some of the things that we're kind of putting together through this certificate program, I'm sure I'll be able to show my enthusiasm a lot more because it's something I'm very passionate about.
God. I'm so proud of you. It's okay. I'm very proud of you. Thank you. Okay. Don't do it. All right. Okay, this is excellent. So I'm very proud of her.
Thank you.
We get to see her in the research and she's brilliant. But I never got to see you teaching.
Aww.
And you did this, which blew me away.
Yeah.
Right.
We're good.
Yeah. All right, so we're done here. We can do other things. I'm sorry. Space for us to take a little time. My name is Natalia Kuraeva. I'm Senior Instructional Designer at Rutgers Teaching and Learning with Technology Department. I'm very happy to work with you. I'm very pleased that this is part of my responsibility because my doctoral degree is in special education. I have experience working with children with special education and with children with autism, so it's very near and dear to my heart, and I hope that this program will really make a difference in terms of educating not only parents, but also doctors, also other educators who are involved. So I hope our efforts will really pay off in that sense. As you mentioned before, now as technology moving forward, and we can bring additional tools to diagnosing children, and not only children, but also support all people with autism using new technology tools. I think it would be very good to incorporate this historical development and just demonstrate that we're really at the time of the, like you call it, autism renaissance.
I think last time we connected via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi something.
Whatever it is, it's not being shown on the screen, which is what
So throughout the game, throughout the scenario, we want to have these interactive games, and these games are less about information, they're more about the autistic world, the world of autistic people. What are their challenges? What do they need? How can the society support them? And we let the students, who are the players, help develop these scenarios and kind of lead the characters into positive outcomes, and also get a feeling of what are the current challenges that these individuals are facing.
Are you hiding? better hiding than you.
We're really gonna use this as the inspiration for the visuals. I think this animation does it really well, like effectively communicates the feeling of being overwhelmed by sound and
just
yeah, and like this sort of black and white world, which is not ideal. It's very stark and
I
but
decided
then
to
once
build
we
this
tried to pull it
certificate
out,
because I thought that parents benefit from it, be empowered by knowledge of new science and new technology that has emerged within the last couple of decades. The advances in technological and scientific knowledge that we've had, which is absent from absolutely all the curricula out there in therapies. It's inspired by scientists who are translate their knowledge to the community, and that's what this certificate is about. It's empowering people to empower people on the spectrum.
A very interesting problem that we're trying to solve is understanding how these dancers, you know, the ballet dancers, how they like communicate with each other. What do I mean by communicate? You know, how, what is language, right? When we speak to each other, you know, we use symbols, we use phonemes, and you know, these phonemes, we synthesize them together and create strings of sentences. We create words, and that's how we communicate and transfer information from one another. We firmly believe that you know, there's some sort of underlying language that takes place there. What if we could break down this communication of bodies, you know, this synergy of bodies in space and time, you know, this flow of information and flow of movement and flow of expression from one person to the other? What if we could break it down to a simple alphabet? If you could break down this space into basic blocks, what if we could encode this in a simple, discrete way, and, you know, then break it down to simple symbols? Then we have done something remarkable. If we discover an independent set of you know, motion symbols, let's call them motion symbols, then basically what you've done is you're able to read people, you are able to understand how people feel, what people want to tell you, even if they're non-verbal, even if they don't speak to you. And this, in my opinion, has great implications. Most importantly, in neurodivergent cases where, you know, people are non-verbal, like they just cannot express how they're feeling to you, they can't express how they're feeling to a clinician. I think that being able to read the language of our bodies, you know, imagine our bodies being, you know, a way that we express our soul, we express our minds, then I think this would be, it would be truly, it would truly revolutionize things. So, yeah.
And it's working.
Can you lift your right leg up? Does that look accurate? Can you move it like straight up like? Okay, so that one's fine. That one's good. And then one thing we noticed. Remember when Theo did his?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do a squat to the ground?
Oh wow. It's beautiful.
Okay. Last thing, we need you to promise not to leave the room. Okay? Thank you.
If she leaves the room, all of our effort basically is wasted and everything disconnects.
how big is the room?
My name is
This
Joe Vieira, and I
Yeah.
work in translating the research we've developed in our lab to be accessible to a more general audience. The reason I do what I do is because I want this research to be more easily integratable into the existing practices that are prevalent in autism, both in the diagnostics and in the treatment.
we're talking about what's behind the naked eye
Yeah.
and what lies in front, what the future, holds for this kind of research and this kind of work. The future, right, is the possibilities are endless because it is, like you said, and like we said, it is a renaissance, right? It's an autism renaissance, right? Boom. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good.
That was the best.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Very good. Got it.
Really, really.